What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Not So Pro Football Talk. If you're joining us here today live, I just want to say thank you. Happy Halloween. I was gonna say it's my favorite holiday, but it really isn't. I mean, I used to enjoy this holiday a lot, but I really don't celebrate it that much anymore. But here we are talking fantasy football, which I wouldn't want to spend this day in any other fashion. So I love this, man. I love fantasy football. Last week or this past week, that's still going on. We hit pretty big. A lot of players, a lot of big games, a lot of points. What's going on, Nestor? Appreciate you being here. Yes, happy Halloween. I hope you're dressed up, my man. Um, have a good time. But today we're talking about what we learned this past week or this week so far in week 8 from fantasy football. Okay, so we got a lot of names on here. One of the biggest ones that I really want to talk about is Travis Etienne. Yeah, we're going to jump right into it. Travis Etienne, we've been saying to buy low on this guy for quite some time now. They traded James Robinson to the New York Jets, and it's James Robinson. It is the Travis Etienne show right now, and he is looking phenomenal. He had 24 carries, 156 yards. He was just insane. He is either Christian McCaffrey Jr. He kind of looks like it, and I'm just talking about production because this guy is getting utilized in every way, sort, or form, and he doesn't get taken off the field. He doesn't get taken off the field. That's freaking phenomenal. Travis Etienne was phenomenal. You expect him to continue to have games like this. I know he went up against the Broncos. We're not very high on the Broncos defense, but he is still to continue to get this usage. Brar, what's going on, man? Appreciate you being here. What's up? Happy Halloween. Hope you're doing well. This guy had CMC and Kamara. That's an easy 80-point game right there so far. Just those two. I believe you probably hit around 80, 85, 87 on a non-PPR league. So congratulations, my man. You basically won your game with just those two guys. I know there's a couple of guys in our leagues where they can't get to 80 points, Seth Russell. But we're having a lot of fun here. We're just talking about Travis Etienne. Are you guys excited about the Jaguars and how they're doing and Travis Etienne's production going forward in this fantasy football season? No, you're not. You're not excited about it?
I'm not excited about the Jaguars. I'm excited about ETN.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah.
talking NFL, right? We're talking fantasy football. Who cares
Oh.
about the Jaguars? They lost again. I had them winning, screwing up my record. But Travis Etienne, you have to be excited about this guy, right?
Yeah, man. He was, like you said, he was not off the field. He was on pretty much every down. He could have even played defense if they wanted to play him. But he had 24 rushes for 156 yards and a touchdown. He wasn't utilized too much in the passing game, but then again, it was a pretty run-heavy game, and they were going with the same plays because they weren't far behind, and sometimes they were ahead. So they were going with the game script that they had coming in. So he got the usage for sure. I just think that defense needs to play a little bit better, but definitely the Broncos played pretty well. So, but as of fantasy purposes, Travis Etienne's the guy to have right now. He's going to be super consistent.
Oh yeah, big time. Brar says that Etienne was on the waivers. He was on a lot of people's waivers. Like we said, go pick him up. Go try to make a trade for him. On my fantasy notes, I had him there for the past 3 weeks already. Go buy low on this guy. Buy low. He has a huge upside, and he was going to eventually take over that running back one position. And it turns out that they traded James Robinson, so now he has no competition over there. So hopefully he stays healthy. We'll see what happens. The same with Tony Pollard. That's actually another guy I want to talk about was Tony Pollard. It seems like the Cowboys could fire off in all cylinders when Ezekiel Elliott's not there. And Tony Pollard, he didn't just look good. He looked phenomenal. He looked great out there at that offense. He was thriving.
Mm-hmm.
What can you guys say about this? I don't see the Cowboys making a transition from Tony Pollard being the running back one.
Not this year. It won't happen, but you can definitely expect a transition in my opinion. Eventually, Ezekiel Elliott, next year's a cap casualty. And Tony Pollard, he looks like a running back one out there. He looks like a guy that you can lead your team with. And yeah, I think he's just going to continue rolling, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. I saw a video just come out yesterday after the game. It was a post game interview with Jerry Jones. He says that Ezekiel Elliott is too valuable to the team. Has the big burst playability. He is a great pass blocker. He's everything in a bag of chips, right? He's everything. And I was like, dude, what are you talking about? Did you not just see what your second string running back did and what he has continued to do every single time your first string is out? Like, if this guy is on there, you guys, I was talking to some Cowboy fans. I was like, if he's your starting running back, you guys have a chance at making a Super Bowl run if he plays continuously like that. Not that they're going to win the Super Bowl, but they have a good chance of getting there.
He's just so dynamic. You could tell that this guy wants it. You know, we saw that from Ezekiel Elliott his early years, right? But then after he got a bag, he slowed down. You know, you could tell that that animal, that drive wasn't in him anymore. I like this guy, and like I said all year long, the Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, they're very pride. It's a prideful organization. They're not going to admit when they're wrong, you know, but it's kind of weird. They're in a good spot because you have this guy named Tony Pollard who is, you know, 3 times cheaper than Ezekiel Elliott, and you could save yourself a lot of money there going forward. Then you have this guy called Cooper Rush, which is 3 times cheaper than Dak Prescott. You're looking pretty phenomenal. I know money's not an issue over there in Dallas, but just saying, you're in a good spot there. You just gotta know when to hold them, when to fold them. Bro says CMC is a better QB than Jimmy G. I saw this stat. I saw the stat where CMC got more QB fantasy points than Daniel Jones. He got more wide receiver fantasy points than Justin Jefferson, and he got the more running back fantasy points than I want to say like Najee Harris. He was up there. Just fantasy points alone for a running back position, he was up there. If you divide all that up from the QB category to the running back category to the wide receiver category, he leads in a lot of those. And that was awesome.
Anybody in the running back category that scored less than 15 points, he was better than all of those people.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. It was an absolute treat watching him. No pun intended, because it's, you know, it's Halloween. Boo. Yeah, but yeah, more running back points than Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, that was it. That was the guy. This guy knows his stuff. But it's super exciting moving forward. And I'm going to answer this question right now because I'm pretty sure we get asked this question tomorrow and so on and so forth. You know, can we expect this from CMC moving forward? And I actually have this down here. I was going to talk about Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, we can. It's not going to be 40 points every week. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not going to be 40 points. But you're going to see very high production. Not only do the Niners love to run the ball, but we saw for the first time this season that Jimmy G was checking down. And every time he checked down, there was CMC. Yeah. Now, the only reason why he had to check down so much was because our star player, Deebo Samuel, wasn't activated. So once Deebo comes back, he is going to take a little bit of those reps. And I do feel like Deebo Samuel is a true asset to any fantasy football team. Will his reps go down? Not reps. Will his targets go down? Yeah, sure. It might go down just because it's easier for that offense to dump off the ball. But he is still going to be seeing at least 7 targets a game. Still good stuff there. Vince, I know you got a lot of players you want to talk about. Throw some at me.
Let's see, man. Yeah, I got a list of 30 players here. I'm still working on their schedule updates for the next 2 weeks to see if you should start them or if you should be scared of them after this Halloween. But some of the guys I want to talk about is pretty much the entire offense of the Eagles. I mean, Devontae Smith was not a big factor because I had him on one of my teams, but A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts were monsters. These guys were insane. I had a bet going against Jalen Hurts because I didn't think they were going to do that well. I thought they were just going to run the ball the whole game. But A.J. Brown had 3 touchdowns in the first half. If that's not the scariest thing for a defense on Halloween weekend, I don't know what is, because they were getting demolished. But these guys are going to keep it going like crazy these next 2 weeks because they both are on the same team and they have Houston and the Commanders in the next 2 weeks. So if you have anybody Eagles on your roster for the next 2 weeks, like, these guys are going to go insane. They have Houston, who is one of the worst against the pass. So A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts are going to be passing and running all over them. The Commanders, they are like middle of the pack right now, but their defensive line cannot get to any QBs. So Jalen Hurts is going to have so much time to run, scramble, pass back there. So if you have Devontae Smith, if you have Miles Sanders, like play all those guys. Make sure they are starting. Barrage says Higgins masterclass next 4 to 6 weeks. Good thing I held on to him. Yeah, I think Higgins is going to do good, but in my opinion, I think the switch for Tyler Boyd going to that number 1 spot and moving around on the offense, I think Tyler Boyd's going to be also one of those guys who's going to get so much production that it's going to be insane. So we've seen it too when all 3 of them are healthy. They all go off. But now that Jamar Chase is gone, I think Higgins and Boyd are going to be fighting out for that. Who's the better wide receiver?
Yeah, most definitely. And you brought out some good points out there, Vincent. AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts. I mean, Jalen Hurts, he kills it every single game, right? He's just such a dynamic quarterback. He makes yards from whether it be from his legs or his arm. And then AJ Brown, he's just that big-bodied wide receiver that they traded for. They knew what they were getting, and he's been showing it. I mean, they're still undefeated. I'm not going to knack on the Eagles at all this season because they earned it. They earned it. They're playing good. They're playing hard-nosed football. They got a top offense. They have a top defense. They're looking good out there. Now, these guys in your fantasy team, this would probably be the only 2 guys I might consider Miles Sanders, but the only 2 guys I would have from the Philadelphia Eagles team is definitely A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. 100% Jalen Hurts. It kind of surprises me that he's, I think, ranked 5th amongst QBs for fantasy football, and it's just so insane because he's been tearing it up.
I actually have his stats pulled up, which I think it's so insane. I know they're not like boosted numbers or anything, but he's got 1,799 yards passing, so basically 1,800, 10 touchdowns and only 2 picks. He also has 105 passer rating, plus he's got 300 yards on the ground rushing and 6 rushing touchdowns. So he's doing pretty good for the first 7 weeks. But he's just not better than Josh Allen. He's not better than a lot of those guys that are ahead of him. So to have him at number 5 is hurting me because I want him to win MVP like I predicted. But I just think them having a stellar season is enough. I'm just happy for him. So, but
yeah, I mean, by them going 7-0, I mean he has a good start right now. But yeah, good input. Ali Johnny, appreciate you being here. Happy Halloween. I don't know if you celebrate Halloween, but happy Halloween. We're being festive today. Says, what do you guys think about Kamara and Cook for Devontae Adams and Travis Etienne, or even Cook and Madison for Adams? So now this is something, right? Because Kamara, he tore it up last week. But then again, you don't have Jameis Winston in. You don't have Michael Thomas. You have an injured Chris Olave. You don't have Jarvis Landry. So Kamara's going to feast. What I think was going to happen throughout the season is that his production, is going to go down, but just a tad, not too much. He is still going to be a clear RB1 or an RB2 for fantasy football purposes. And Kamara's still going to be putting up points. Same thing with Cook. The only thing I'm worried about Cook is his injury history. We haven't hit that point yet, and the Minnesota Vikings are on a high right now. Will they fall off with injuries? Vince, I think you and I talked about this a little earlier this week or yesterday. Devontae Adams did not have a good game, right? Well, can you blame it on Devontae Adams? He was dealing with a sickness, so clearly he has to be 100% in order for him to have some type of production. You can't put the blame on him. Derek Carr, look, he shit the bed. It was bad, really bad. And Etienne, we just talked about him earlier. He's the next Christian McCaffrey. This guy's it. He's the bell cow. He's getting the carries. He's getting the targets. He is being involved 100% on that struggling offense. Breaking down on the offensive line, check down to ETN, baby. That's going to be the number 1 code. So this trade kind of evens out. I'm going to ask you guys, Reed and Vince, for y'all's input. Will you guys accept this trade?
I love ETN, but Devontae Adams, I just don't trust him on a week-to-week basis. Yes, he's still one of the best wide receivers in the league, in my opinion, but he's just not consistent with that offense just because I don't trust Derek Carr. I don't trust that offensive line. I don't trust a lot of things about that team, in my opinion. To ETN, I think it's more of a fair trade. I wouldn't do Cook and Madison for Adams, I think.
It kind of seems like he needs a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Right? Because if he's doing even Cook and Madison for Adams, it seems like you need a wide receiver. Honestly, I'd probably trade Kamara for Adams. My personal opinion, just because Kamara is like a roller coaster. Cook, he's been on that line of consistency, and that's what I like. I like that consistency when it comes to fantasy football. And Kamara, he could score you 50 points one game, then the next game he could score you, 12, 11 points.
Yeah. If you are the person who has Kamara and Cook, I would definitely try to get rid of Kamara. He is eye candy right now. I don't think that the Saints have the best schedule going into the back half of this NFL season. Cook also has a very, very hard schedule. I know that for a fact. I know that the next 6 games out of his last 8 are all against top defenses against the run. So Cook is a guy to trade away, sell high on him, especially after this week. People are going to be trying to get the biggest depth that they can at every position. But I agree with Reed. Adams is not the guy, so I don't think you trade for Adams. You trade for some good stock with just make sure you're looking at the back end of this season, because we're going into playoffs here, you need the best players going into the playoffs. But ETN for sure, keep that guy in that trade. If you are getting that part of the trade, ETN is a guy to have. He's going to be the workhorse. Just cross your fingers that nothing happens to him. I'm knocking on wood for you. I know it's a scary time right now, as you can see with the background. But I think ETN is the only guy you trade for, honestly.
Yeah. Unless you need wide receiver depth. Really, it's not a bad trade. Of course, Ben, we answer every question here. Happy Halloween. It says, got to hand out candy to kids. I miss moments of Monday Night Football. Hey, dude, I feel you. My fiance is coming out from work. We're going to watch the new Halloween movie and hand out candy. Hey, first year being a homeowner, I'm handing out candy today. I'm a little excited. Yeah. I want to scare the shit out of some kids. But Lucia said, would you rather have rest of season ETN or JT? I like this question. This is a good question here. Now, we've seen so many inconsistent. You want to say something, Reed?
No, you go ahead, and then I'll follow up.
Okay, you've seen so much inconsistency with Indiana, kind of like what Brar said when he was answering. Appreciate that, Brar. Honestly, I love when the comment section is getting so involved here. But yeah, ETN is going to be that bell cow. He has no competition when it comes to Jacksonville, and even though that team is not hot, I mean, Colts aren't hot either. It's a horrible season for them. Safety with the Jacksonville Jaguars, but the Jacksonville Jaguars have that crutch that they're relying on. Indianapolis, they got a new QB. They're trying to throw it to new receivers. JT re-aggravated his injury. That's a big part. So ETN, he's a hot guy right now. He is a league winner. That's the guy you got to ride with for the rest of the season, in my opinion. Hopefully he stays healthy, but right now you see that JT is ready to deal with another injury, which is no bueno on our part.
Yeah, I said it a few weeks ago, and I keep with my statement. JT, he's not the fantasy guy that we thought he was going to be this year. I was really high on him. I was saying, hey, you got to get him in the first pick of your draft if you have the first round pick, and we were all wrong about it. Vincent was one of those people, unfortunately.
JT, I traded him away, though. Traded him away.
Yes, you did. Jonathan Taylor, I still think he's a great player, but as far as fantasy-wise, he's not going to be getting you those huge points. If you still have him on your team, try to trade him. Still, some people out there still think he's going to put up big points and try to get something back in return for him. ETN, 100%, you got to ride it with him. The only way that what I say is wrong is if ETN gets an injury next week, and then you're screwed. But I think ETN's the much better fantasy running back right now.
He's the next Breece Hall, a young guy, and really this is ETN's real rookie year because he got injured last year, which ended his season. But he looks good. He looks good. Brar has another question for us. Brar, you're being so selfish with all these great players that you have. It says, do I trade Higgins and Cook for Jefferson? Cook is not starting and is behind running backs like CMC, Kamara, and Mixon. Wow, you have Cook behind Mixon? Okay, I like to compare those two very much. But, I mean, with a stacked team, you want Justin Jefferson on your team. He is a high-end wide receiver. Do I feel like you're overpaying? Not so much, because during the postseason, I don't want to say for playoffs, which obviously you're making to the playoffs since you're listening to Not So Pro Fantasy Football Talk. Justin Jefferson is going to be phenomenal. He's always going to have those targets, always going to have opportunities to score big. And Higgins, when playoffs come in, Jamar Chase is going to be healthy, so then that cuts down. And Cook, will he stay healthy for the rest of the season? I don't know. Will he be gaining points? Yes, but it's never like a spike of 40 to 50 points. We don't see that from Cook. I like this trade. What y'all like it?
I think it's a good one. I'm a little bit hesitant about trading away Higgins just because I think he can get you good points with Jamar Chase or without Jamar Chase, in my opinion. But Jefferson is that dynamic of a player. He can put up huge points. I think it could work out for you, especially with the running backs that you already have. I mean, you might as well get rid of Cook if you can.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion here, I'm looking at Mixon's schedule, and it's a lot tougher than Cook's. But Mixon is very consistent, and that offense is going into a good part right now. Honestly, they're going to be utilizing Mixon a lot more because Jamar Chase is out. That's a good thing for you Mixon owners there in fantasy. But I think I might end up trading Mixon here. Cook does have a hard schedule, but Cook has been a splash kind of guy. And when Jefferson's not hot, Cook is definitely hot because they're either running the ball or Jefferson is just so stuffed up that they're utilizing all their other weapons. But yeah, I like Higgins and Cook for Jefferson. I'd say you're good there. With the team I know that he has, I hope he went after a tight end after I told him last week. But yeah, you're good to trade with whoever you want, honestly, as long as you go after one of the top 5 positions.
Yeah, and it's Justin Jefferson, man. I know he's not ranked too high right now, but just because he started off the season a little slow, but this guy is getting production all over the place. He's a great asset to the team. You want to have wide receivers like Cook, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Stephon Diggs. What was the other guy? The guy you have, Cooper Kupp. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the guys that you want to have. I think Justin Jefferson is top 5 when it comes to fantasy wide receiver yards, which leads me to the next couple of guys I want to talk about. Says the only advice I didn't listen for y'all was a tight end. Last 3 weeks, Kittle has been nice. Yeah, he's been very nice. And hey, this guy knows what's up too. He's a Niners fan, so he's getting more involved. I was wrong this past week. I thought Kittle was going to be involved as much as he was for fantasy football because we had Kyle Juszczyk out. So I thought he was going to be more involved in the blocking game than he was with the receiving or being a legit tight end. But yeah. Good for you, man. Kittle's out there. And actually, now I'm thinking about the schedule is kind of going downhill. The only other team that we're playing up against that has a winning record is the Seattle Seahawks, which I don't know what they're ranked against tight ends.
We suck against tight ends, but lately we've been getting better. But it's still Kittle's going to run all over us. He always has, no matter if we have the Legion of Boom or not. Now we have the Legion of Zoom that I'm calling it.
Legion of Zoom.
Yeah, because we're fast out there now. But I think Kittle is gonna get back into the top 10 tight ends just because y'all have CMC now. I think y'all are moving away from the smash mouth football, and you guys are now using CMC as the weapon that he's been used as. So I think you guys are gonna change up the playbook just a little bit. I saw that message you sent me about the Shanna plan.
Yeah. Can you believe after 1 week of having this guy, how much that playbook has changed? I was so excited. I'm super excited for the Niners, but we're talking about fantasy football, so I won't bore you guys with that. The next 2 guys I want to talk about is Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. These guys are killing it out there. Did you know that both these wide receivers, both of them, are in top 5 for fantasy wide receiver receiving yards? When's the last time that's happened? What's going on, Ethan? John, appreciate you coming back. Happy Halloween. Don't know if you celebrated, but we're happy that you're here celebrating fantasy football Halloween talk with us. But yeah, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, you need these guys, man. They are big-time league winners. Even if you have a chance, I never do this. I don't like doing this. These guys know I hate doing this.
Double
Dip, baby.
Yeah.
Double dip with these guys. I don't like having two players from the same team. I just talked about this with Reed. I have CMC and Debo, and I'm trying to get rid of Debo because I don't like having two players in the same team. It messes with my head. But these guys, it's like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin on crack. These guys are out there, they're scoring more points, and they just cannot be stopped. This offense is so dynamic. I love it. Tua's a guy. I love that talk that you had. Was it preseason, Vince?
Heck
Tua's
yeah, man.
a guy, man.
I told you, and I also said in the preseason too, I said Waddle has the chance to outshine Hill, and he has so far on touchdowns. But Hill is the guy who gets all the yards before that. But yeah, they both got 30 points this year in a PPR, and this game in a PPR league. So it's crazy to see. I don't think we've ever seen that, and if we have, it's very, very rare. So if you have even just one of these guys, they've been a starter for you for sure.
Hey, I know you're a big Lenny guy over here, Vince. You want to help him out? Because I already know what I would say.
I think it's time, my friend. Honestly, AJ was a believer in Rashad White over there, and I was like, I don't know, AJ. I don't think Lenny's done yet. And then it just proved to be right, man. Like I've been saying it too. The league wants to get younger. I just didn't think Lenny was out there just yet, just because they still have Tom Brady. If you have an old guy at one position, you want to keep an old guy at another. You just keep the friends there. But
it smells like Old Spice in there, man.
But yeah, man, trade Lenny. In my opinion, right now, his trade stock has gone so down. It's going to be hard to get someone. So I would say maybe keep him until he gets another stellar game, because he will have another game that's going to be decent.
Yeah.
Wait till he gets like 15, maybe even 20 points if that's possible for him now. So you can trade for something that you need on your team, like wide receiver or even a better running back who has a favorable schedule going into the playoffs.
Yeah, a player like Fournette, you want to trade high. Don't settle for anything less. If you can't trade high, keep him. Like, for example, as Reed knows, I'm trying to trade Deebo Samuel in one of my leagues. Guys hate me in that league. I can't trade him. I'm going to keep him. He's still going to be profitable on my team, no matter what. So don't settle for less.
Okay.
Yeah. No comments there, Reed?
No.
Awesome. Now we're going to get back into Jalen Waddle. He says, about Waddle and Hill, should I trade Hurts because I have Tua and target for a better wide receiver or running back? Now, you could get a lot for Hurts. You really can. But how consistent can Tua be, right? Tua's not a bad quarterback, but fantasy-wise, how consistent can he be? We've seen him suffer through an injury already. That was a big-time injury, big concussion. I'm afraid that's something that could definitely just come back because the head is a very sensitive area, and I don't feel comfortable trading Jalen Hurts just because he is just phenomenal. He's such a dynamic guy. I would try to trade Tua on a high price, but if the price is right, I would say, hey, come on, don't be too conservative. Go trade Hurts. Go get someone like a Justin Jefferson. Go get someone like an Alec Pierce or Dalvin Cook in that position. Get someone big, because quarterbacks, Tua's not a bad quarterback. He'll continue giving you 15 to 20 points a game. And that's really all you need from a quarterback. So, yeah, I would say shop him around, see what's up.
Yeah, and in my opinion, too, I think you shop Tua as well. I'm looking at the back half of his schedule right now, and it's all red. He goes up against Houston, San Francisco, Buffalo, Green Bay, the Jets. Those are all some of the toughest teams against passing quarterbacks. And right now, they have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So he's going to defy the odds. He's going to score more points than you think against those teams, but it's not going to be a consistent thing every week. So definitely with one of those trades, whether you trade both Hurts and Tua, you make sure you get a Josh Allen. You make sure you get someone who's scoring 20 plus points a week. Shoot, even try to get a double trade with Kirk Cousins and someone else, because Kirk Cousins has a favorable schedule and he's been consistently scoring about 18 to above 20 points every game. I think there's only one game where he's had a horrible game, and it was because the Vikings got totally killed. Yeah, I think you could trade both of them, Mr. Ethan John. But definitely, just as AJ said just a little while ago, do not sell yourself short. you make a trade where you get someone who's a top contender in their position.
I like what Brar said. Try to go get Etienne.
Might
That'd
as
be pretty
well.
cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. Go get Etienne and get a lower piece that has a high ceiling like a Jacoby Myers. I like
Oh, yeah.
Jacoby.
Dude,
like it
I
a
was
lot.
so surprised at how good he did this week. It was insane. He got about
Yeah.
20 points, I believe.
Yep.
I just don't like that quarterback controversy going on right now. I'm still a Zappy guy. I don't like Mac Jones whatsoever, but that's just me.
Nah,
What
for
do you think,
sure.
Reed?
As far as the trade,
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, always make your team better, as AJ always says. Having two quarterbacks that you could start on your team. I mean, you got a great backup, but hey, you can have a better running back or wide receiver. So go ahead, trade one of those guys, pick between the two, whichever one you think is better to trade. I would trade away Hurts, in my opinion. But yeah, always make your team better.
Always. And you keep on doing that. And there's some guys I want to mention because a lot of people were on this hype train on this wide receiver coming into the season. And I was not one of those guys. Okay. I don't think any of these guys were. I'm talking about Cortland Sutton from the Denver Broncos. Remember that one comment I got? Oh, Cortland Sutton needs to be a top 5 fantasy wide. Get those comments out of here. Okay. I've never been a believer. Jerry Judy's the clear wide receiver 1. I said he's going to be the wide receiver 1 going into this season. Even at that, he's still not scoring wide receiver 1 points. You know, this offense is just, it's all over the place. They haven't found themselves. They're riding into they're not riding into a sunset. Okay, I'm trying to make a pun when it comes to Broncos country. That's right. But Cortland Sutton, let's get off of that. This past game, he had 1 reception for 13 yards. You're not getting anything with him. Just forget about Cortland. He is not the guy. Don't try to trade for him. If you can find a sucker in your league, trade high. But we'll see what happens. So thanks, boys. Got to go. Appreciate the advice. Hey, man, happy Halloween. If you're going out there getting candy, make sure you be safe. All right, be safe. If you got kids, be safe. Check the candy. I hear some dangerous stuff in there. Dangerous stuff in there. But cool. You got any other players, Vince?
Yeah, man, I have so many players right now. I see Reed right now in our mentions right now. He says that he wants to talk about Murray and D-Hop, and I do have those guys right now on here. So I'll leave the floor open just right now in a little bit. D-Hop is going insane. For those of you that stashed him on the little IR area because he was suspended for the first 6 games, you are a king right now in your fantasy league. And I was going up against one of those guys, but I was also one of those guys. And for the first time ever, I scored more than 200 points in a fantasy game. I felt like a complete bully. But I'll leave the floor here to Reed. D-Hop is just a steal. What do you have on D-Hop, Reed?
D-Hop is amazing. If you were one of those people that drafted him way back then and kept him on your team and didn't trade him away, it is paying off finally. I was a D-Hop non-believer. I didn't think that having him out for 6 games and then him coming back was going to be that much of a... It wasn't going to be worth it, in my opinion, to keep him on your roster the whole season. But it's ended up paying off. He's been absolutely killer, getting touchdowns in both of the games he's played so far, and just been incredible, in my opinion. But Murray, guys, this is the first time I think that he's broken the curse of Call of Duty has come out, and he's actually had the second best fantasy game so far this season.
But
For him, he did lose.
He lost.
He did lose. I'm not talking about the actual like football. All right, football. Yeah, he threw 2 interceptions. He stunk.
You got flashbang that night.
Yes, but the stat was when Call of Duty came out that his fantasy points went down, and he did it this week. He had one of his best games, 24 points. Can we see a continuing trend of this, guys? I don't know. I kind of want to believe in him. I think as far as fantasy wise, I think this is a guy that you can continue starting in your league, and especially with a guy like D-Hop coming back and helping him out. I mean, he said it himself. Just F it. D Hop's out there somewhere. Just throw it up,
Yeah.
and it works. I mean, D Hop would have had more points if they didn't have that nasty hit on him in the end zone.
Mhm.
The Vikings did, but I think this is a duo that's going to be worth starting in these continuing weeks, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, definitely Kings. Definitely you guys that store took a chance on D Hop. I know I wanted to, but I want to get like a round later. I just couldn't squeeze it out. In the leagues that I'm in, I have people who knew what they're doing. Like Vince, he knew exactly what he was doing. I think Joseph drafted him like in the 4th round, way too early. But
Yeah.
Way too early.
Early.
But it's paying off now.
it's
Yeah.
paying off now. Yeah, big time. We have Israel in the comments. It says AJ with a cowboy hat because I am going against him in one of our fantasy leagues this season.
Mm.
Now, I want to ask you guys in the chat, everyone who's watching. I want to ask Vincent. I want to ask Reed here. I need 12.5 points. I got one player left. He's done. I need 12.5 points to win this game. My player that is left is Joe Burrow. Is it lime time?
It's
I
lime
think it's
time.
lime time. I
It's
think
lime
it's lime
time. Is it lime time, Israel? Hope you're still here, man. Ooh-wee. I'm gonna be doing my gritty. If you guys want to see that, it'll be on TikTok. Just kidding.
do it
I
right
can't-
now. Do it right now.
don't know how to
Do
do
it right
it.
now.
AJ,
Do it right
Guys,
now.
I'm in shorts, guys.
Dude, I
Do
want
it
to
right
see it
now.
though.
I'm not going to gritty right
Oh
now.
my
Oh,
gosh.
I don't know. If we get 3 more subs, I'll do it.
Okay.
Oh,
Everybody sub right now, please.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone's
just
on
unsubscribe and sub back again. Right
that
now.
doesn't count. That doesn't count. Nestor, shut your
Let's go,
mouth,
Nestor.
Nestor. Get out of here, man. It's horrible. It's actually worse than
I have seen it. It's pretty bad.
It's funny.
what was his name? The guy who did
Giseki?
Giseki, yeah.
Yeah,
It was-
Giseki, he does it so fast.
Oh, Israel, hey, you don't wish injuries upon anyone
Oh
here.
my geez.
Wow.
Joe's
That's a
gonna
real-
have a
That's
game.
a real Cowboys fan right there, boys.
Wow.
Right there.
Come
on.
Jeez. He was probably lighting candles so that Ezekiel Elliott could get injured, so the real running back one could start, right? Because it
Jeez.
definitely paid off.
Hey,
It definitely
I
did.
thought it was a Zeke believer. I thought.
Is he a Zeke
Oh.
believer?
I thought so.
Oh
Maybe not.
man, no, he's negative. He said he's not a Zeke believer.
Mm.
No, that's kind of
Okay.
weird. But there's this guy that I mean, we'll skip to this part. Let's do another duo. Let's talk about Deontay Foreman and DJ Moore from the Carolina Panthers. How did they do? A great round of applause. Clearly, the issue was Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
Clearly, I mean, you could sprinkle a little bit of Matt Rowe on there. I think it's kind of unfair to do so, but Baker Mayfield was the issue. And everyone's saying, trash talking. Really, why are you bashing on Baker Mayfield? He's going to make the Panthers look great. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. He's an all-star quarterback. He was dealt wrong over there, and Cleveland might have been dealt wrong, but that's besides the point. He's not a good quarterback. He's not a good person, and it showed. It showed. Now, immediately after he's gone, these guys are doing good. They should have won that game, but there's a conspiracy theory out there that they were trying to lose because they're trying to get some draft picks going. But DJ Moore, he's getting the wide receiver 1 targets. Yeah, I know they jumped ship. It's the apocalypse. They got rid of everyone. Deontay Foreman, he had a phenomenal game. And yes, I know Chuba Hubbard was gone, but he's still going to be the running back 1. So for those of y'all who picked him up, which I picked him up 2 out of 3 of my fantasy leagues because Muhammad beat me to it. I was on the road. Good for y'all. You got yourself a running back 1. You guys got any comments there?
I just want to talk about DJ Moore. He made an effort, man, on that Hail Mary. I was watching the end of that game and I was pushing off the Seahawks game because I was like, oh my geez, like I want to see DJ Moore and Deontay Foreman do more in this overtime game. But DJ Moore is just going off, and it's not like he's getting amazing amount of receptions. He's only got 6, and then I believe last game he had about 6 as well. But the amount of yards that he's getting on these passes now, thrown from PJ Walker, is insane. He had 152 yards receiving and a touchdown, which was one of those Hail Marys for 43 yards. But also Deontay Foreman is just so consistent. At that first time when CMC was, well, he's not there anymore, but at first when he was out for a game, Deontay Foreman came in and he got over 100 yards. And I was like, okay, that was a little fluke, you know. Chuba Hubbard's going to come in and take so much production. But even when Chuba was playing, Deontay Foreman continues to get 100 yards. And he got 100 yards this game, too, with Chuba out. I just feel like Deontay Foreman is the guy for them. He's going to continue to be that guy. But I still think they run a double-headed monster there. And Chuba Hubbard is also a steal. But Israel says, calling it DJ Moore or QJB to the boys. I don't know who he means by QJB. You know who he means?
He means OJB, but
Oh,
yeah,
OJB,
OBJ, I think maybe.
OBJ.
Yeah.
OBJ to the boys. Why would you want that? I wouldn't want that. You got CeeDee Lamb who's playing phenomenal. Don't interrupt the Lion who's feasting, man. He's feasting right now. And you have people like Michael Gallup. You have people like Noah Brown who are great, supporters, great assets. I don't think you need to ruin that. Now, if you want to, what everyone's trying to do right now, and the Niners are a victim to it as well, to cash all in and to get as much as you can to go out and make a Super Bowl team, then sure, why not? Take a chance on it. But I don't think you necessarily need it, and I don't think I don't think wide receiver is their biggest concern either. And remember, it has to be done within 24 hours. We got within 24 hours before the deadline is done. That's fun. Yeah. It's going to be fun. There's going to be some news. I want to talk about this tomorrow, hopefully. I'm wondering if the Niners are going to make some moves, if our team's going to make moves, if the Packers are going to get a wide receiver. We'll see. We'll see.
There's even a rumor that DJ Moore is getting a lot of push from the Seahawks. I didn't believe that, but then it came out from a pretty decent, credible sources. Not anybody big, but I was intrigued by that because it's saying that both the 49ers and Seahawks are the top runners for DJ Moore. But I don't see that happening because you guys already traded for CMC. So it could be something that's debunked. But I mean, DJ Moore is getting a lot of push. They're cashing in there at the Panthers organization, so it'd be pretty wild to see where he goes if he does go anywhere this next 24 hours.
It would be pretty wild. Yeah, and I could see the Niners not really going for a wide receiver, but more like a corner or offensive lineman. But a lot of stuff going out there. Yeah, CMC went to a better team that's going to be utilized correctly, but could it be too much? I don't know. We tend to run our running backs to the ground. I'm a little hurt. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little scared every time he touches the ball because I feel the same way whenever Debo gets the ball. I feel like they're just going to stay on the floor, and I'm going to cry a little bit. But love that trade. Love that trade. A lot of guys out here. We're coming towards the end of the show. Unless you guys have some more people to talk about, I got one more person that I really want to talk about. I'm going to avoid DeAndre Swift because I don't want to talk about him. I'm pretty upset. 5 receptions, 5 carries. Could be because he's coming off an injury, but only time will tell. He is not the same guy that we thought he was going to be. But the guy that I want to flex on you guys about, I've been talking about him all season long, all preseason, is Rhamondre Stevenson. Yes, Rhamondre Stevenson is that dude. Everyone's like, oh, well, Damien Harris is going to come back. He's going to take that running back 1 spot. Nah, dude. I told you this. He is coming for that man's job. Midway through the season, he's going to be the solidified running back 1. And what is he now? The solidified running back 1. 16 carries, Damien Harris. 11 carries. 7 receptions, Damien Harris. 2 receptions. And the only reason why Damien Harris was involved so much is because it was towards the end of the game. They're trying to run the clock out. 49 snaps for Rhamondre Stevenson. 31 snaps, Damien Harris. Come on, man. You tell me. That's my biggest flex of the season so far. He says, who do you think? Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. He says, who do you think I trade Aaron Jones and Mike Williams for? Oh, Aaron Jones just tore it up.
Yeah.
He just
I know, bro. I was just about to bring up Aaron Jones, but he did it for me. I think Aaron Jones is moving into that role where he's going to be the back that we knew he was supposed to be. And Reed has his fingers crossed there. But I want Reed to talk about this a little bit more, but I know he's going to save some of it for his channel, for his video that's going to come out on Wednesday. But in my opinion, as someone who's not a Packers fan and doesn't follow everything about them, I think this is the turn for him. I think that they're finally getting to know that Aaron Jones is I mean, they should have known all along. Aaron Jones is the guy for as long as you have him. AJ Dillon had a little bit of an injury scare, but he was fine. So I think Aaron Jones, they're going to utilize him as much as they can. And I believe it's the last year of his contract, right, Reed?
No, he has 2 more years after this, but his cap number like jumps dramatically to 20 million next year. So he's a cap casualty.
Yeah, so I think they do utilize him a lot this year. They're going to try to push as hard as they can to win a few more games, try to squeak into the playoffs, in my opinion. I don't know. I hope for the betterment of my boy Reed up here because it's a little bit hard for him. I know it's supposed to be my season where I was the one crying, but it's now Reed. But yeah, I think Aaron Jones is turning the tables here. He's going to be a menace in fantasy. I see you hold on to him.
So Aaron Jones, he finally got the touches that he deserves and needs. I think it was like 146 rushing yards, and then I forget 43, and then I forget how many receiving yards went on top of that. Four
receptions for 14.
Okay, yeah. So he finally got really good points out there. No touchdowns, but those will come. The question is, how much will the Packers use him going forward? Because they kept on cutting his reps and his touches for the past few weeks. And then they finally figured out right this week when Alan Lazard was hurt, Christian Watson was hurt, Randall Cobb was hurt, that we finally should use Aaron Jones. Now, with those people coming back soon, will Aaron Jones continue to see these targets, these touches? I don't know. He should. It's what they should do. But as far as how I've been feeling about how the Packers have been coached this year, I can't say 100% certain that he will get those reps. He will get those touches. So as far as how it should go, he should be a great running back for you in fantasy, but it's just rough out here, man. It's rough.
You guys brought up great points on why Aaron Jones is so great.
Yep.
But to answer the question,
Sorry.
It's cool. It's easy to get carried away, especially with someone who just popped off less than 24 hours ago. This guy was phenomenal and looks like he's on a huge upside, which in reality, you could trade extremely high for this guy if you are looking to trade for him or to trade him. So for Aaron Jones and Mike Williams, he had great production. Keenan Allen's still iffy about his injury, and Mike Williams is going to have production no matter what, even as a wide receiver 2 in that team. You could go out there, and I still like this trade. Get someone like a Travis Etienne and a Jacoby Myers. You kind of swap, But you could also buy extremely low on Deebo Samuel right now because people don't have faith in him. Niners just got CMC. Deebo Samuel just got injured. The Niners have a bye this upcoming week, so you're not going to see him perform. You could buy him extremely low right now. So maybe you could get a Travis Etienne and a Deebo Samuel. Or if you're looking to the wide receiver spot, you could get someone like a Justin Jefferson and an injured James Conner, because once he does become healthy, he should be having some decent points week to week. So
yeah, man. A guy that I recommend going for right now because he's just about to come off of IR and nobody knows how he's going to do is Patterson from the Falcons. Cordero Patterson. He's projected to get 12 points this next week as he comes off of IR, hopefully. But I think he's going to be a big factor because just this week, Marcus Mariota and Kyle Pitts just connected for the first time ever. Kyle Pitts had 19 points, 5 receptions, 80 yards, and a touchdown. I think the Falcons are trying to defy the odds and possibly have a winning record this year. So they're at 4-4 right now. So I think that's another guy you could trade for. Cordero Patterson is good. He's going to make a splash because, as we saw last year, he was the only guy that mattered besides Kyle Pitts. But now with Kyle Pitts kind of getting the groove going, I think that offense is starting to look a little better. They'll be on the field more, and Cordero Patterson is going to help with that. So, I mean, of course, shop low on him because he's still on IR. He could not come off this week, but in the next 2 weeks for sure, he should be back on the field.
Yeah, very nice. You get someone like Jamar Chase whenever he comes back. But yeah, I appreciate all you guys coming in and joining us today on Halloween Day. This was a last minute deal, but glad we got on. Love talking to y'all. Tomorrow, right in the beginning of the show, because we're supposed to do this today, but we got carried away with so much fantasy stuff. We are finally announcing the winner of our giveaway. So be tuned tomorrow, 6 o'clock, for our other fantasy football talk. We're going to be talking about who to pick up on the waiver wire to help improve your team. But thank you all so much for joining us today. Happy Halloween. And until next time, keep on grinding.